Hello, fellow Star Trek fleet commanders. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Today, I wanted to do a video to talk a little bit about hostile hunt and how we can be more efficient with that. At the state of the game right now, we've had the X-Borg faction a few months ago that was released, and that created some efficiencies, but then they added more loops and more grind as usual, and well, it just took all that efficiency away, didn't it? So I'm always thinking, how can I do things better, more efficiently, quicker, or reduce some of my time I do doing other things? And so those are some things I want to talk about today. Let's look really quick here. Well, Faction Hunt is a an event that we used to get every single month, except maybe not some months, but now the standard is it comes out every single month just before we get a new arc launch, right? And so for me, I have three different factions that I hit because I've locked all three. Um, you you lock all three either by getting them all up to 10 million. That's the first lock, 1 billion or 15 billion. So depending where you're at in the game, I would if you haven't locked all three, I would highly encourage it. The faction credits you can get from each three faction, the speed ups, it's all worth it. Okay. But for me, I have to hit three different factions. So what's the most efficient way for me to do that? Well, let's look at the event really quick. And I want to talk about the rewards. Just a shout out to Scope in case anyone sees this video. Disney's adjusting. In this higher level, the 380,000 officer XP, um, I get that amount just by doing one board run a day. One run. Okay, so that is just so super low. Ultra recruit tokens are kind of worthless to me now because there's so many officers. I have no way of knowing if I'm actually getting anything or anyone that I want. So I just kind of hoard them. Romulan credits. The credits are the most valuable thing in this um, whole section. Although I get, let me show you. This is what's funny. Get the system or get the game to load. Let me switch over to the Borg faction. If you aren't this level, this may be surprising to you. But I am currently saving my charge probes I get each day because I'm trying to level my Talius a little bit more. But just to show you, one turn in each day, I can get almost 2,000. Let's call it 2,000. I can get 2,000 credits a day. So they really need to upgrade or update their rewards. But they're such a need for faction credits, I do it anyways. Okay, so let me look here and talk this through a little bit because there's a couple different strategies I would recommend depending upon your situation. The first one would be to go to level 34 systems. And let's look. Level 34 system, you're probably going to get about 10 points, 9 or 10 points. Let's call it 10 points. For me, if I had to hit the level 34 system, though, that means 10 points each. I'm like 153 hostiles I have to hit. That's nuts. I'm not going to do that unless we try one of my strategies. Okay, secondly, if I hit a deep space system as far as I can go, I'm about 25 points a hostile. A lot better, 2.5 times better than if I hit a level 34 system. So let's talk about that strategy a little bit. And I just want to remind everyone, I'll hop over to the game here, go to Galaxy View. Come on, Scopely. Partly my computer too. I don't know how many of you have a old machine that you use, but mine's a little bit dated, so maybe I should get a better machine. Okay, so 34 systems. You've got Andoria in Federation space. You've got Vendor in Romulan space and Beta Penthe right here in Klingon space. And why do I like these systems? Well, let me hop into one and I'll talk it through a little bit here. So in these systems, there's usually not a lot of people that are hitting these systems. And I don't see anyone right now. So that just proves my point. Thank you, Galaxy, for proving me right. Anyways, I go to these systems, or used to go to these systems, because there wasn't a lot of people hunting here, and they spawn pretty quickly, so you can just hit like crazy. So the first strategy would be if you're trying to be efficient, and what I mean by that is the most important thing to you is you just want to get this thing done. You want to get the rewards, call it a day. But what I would do is I would equip a couple of different officers. And let me hop into the officers and I'll show you the ones I'm talking about. But you want to use some speed officers. For those who don't know, I always default, my brain works this way, a certain order. Where is Claw? Right there. Okay, so Claw is a speed officer. As a captain, in his captain ability, I mean, increases the impulse speed of your ship by 25%. So I would put him on an interceptor. Who else do we have? Let's find Curon. Curon you can put on a ship, and his is an officer ability, so it doesn't need to be the captain. Just needs to be on the bridge, but he increases impulse speed by 35%. Great. So he's another person to have on a ship. Let's see, Strange New Worlds, Una. That not everyone may have unlocked, but and I know they don't have a incursion event this month to get shards, but you could equip Strange New Worlds, Una. Officer ability increases impulse speed by 15%. And another one that I have used is Pan. He's currently on an away mission, but I'll just pull him up for those who aren't familiar with Pan and his ability. Which Pan you can earn through the Augment store if you don't have him. You can get daily shards there, but he also increases the impulse speed of the ship by 20%. So what I would do is, if I were you and you just want to knock this thing out, is I would put one of these officers on each ship, maybe take 4 ships out, and just knock out as many of these as quick as you can. You're going to get maybe 8 points a hostile here. The 8, 16, 24, 32. 32 points for having each ship hit 1 hostile. That's better than I can hit taking my Enterprise A out to deep space and getting 25 points each. So it's a lot quicker. And the fact that they're on interceptors, you'll just knock it out pretty quick. Okay, second strategy that I would suggest here is take some ships that need XP. If you want to do the same thing, but maybe you have a Devore that you're trying to level up so you can scrap it and get a Fuchsia, or maybe you're trying to level your Stella so you can scrap that thing eventually at level 45, get a bunch of those Stella particles and do some more research, stuff like that, where you were just trying to max out some ships. Now, I know some of the bigger ships, like, let me show you this here. This is my Mantis. I just leveled it to 11, tiered it to 11 today, and it needs 6.3 per level. So the amount of XP I'm getting, I would get by taking it to these systems is inconsequential compared to what I need, but every little bit helps. And I know how we all love farming XP, which is why, oh, don't you love it? Trying to work around Scopely's failed game design here. Just my opinion. But this just proves how much people hate farming XP. Wait for the system to load, and wow, there's a lot of red. I think that's a game glitch. I don't think there's that many red just sitting out on the edges of space. But as you can see, there's a lot of blues. They're just leaving ships there to farm XP. So that's something we can go into more detail. Basically, you just drop a ship here and let it go. But then the third option, and I'll talk about it three part 1 and part 2. But the third one is if you have a big ship that can go the deepest deep space system if you have deep space open, or just a further system you can go to. This is probably more towards people that do have deep space open, but one of the big bottlenecks is ship parts. Ship parts can be hard to get, hard to stock up on. So maybe you take your main ship, 1 or 2 ships if you have them, and go to one of these deep space systems and farm the parts. So while you're knocking out some hostiles, you're getting ship parts at the same time for your refines. That's a great way to use your time. The fourth option I would say is go to a system that has surveys, transport ships, and go to that system and just hit the hostiles there as much as you can. Maybe you're not looking for survey parts, but maybe you're farming not XP, you're farming faction rep. And we all know that we need to either lock our factions or move them on for bigger and better things, bigger and better ships, stuff like that. Okay, so that might be a strategy that you want to consider. So those are the four reasons, and really, when it comes down to it, is you're the final decision maker. Um, what do you find value in? Are you just trying to knock this thing out, or is there some other benefit that you'd like to get at the same time to be more efficient? Whether that's leveling your lower level ships, or getting ship parts, or faction rep, it's really up to you. There's still rewards that are helpful. Like I said, I do it for the faction credits just because I am always in need of faction credits to get things. Um, and I hope someday Scopely will hear this and they'll make some updates to this event. But we have it every month, so take advantage of this efficiency and use it for whatever you're looking to get out of the event. Now, before I finish up the video, I did want to talk about some crews. For a long time, the main crew was with Pike Moreau Chen or Pike Moreau Talon. Pike Moreau Chen you typically use on explorers or battleships, mainly explorers because explorers are what Chen is good for the energy weapons. Talon is good for kinetic, so it's usually interceptors. Although they've introduced a lot of different. That's a generalized comment because they've introduced a lot of different hostiles in the game. So that's one crew you could use. They come up with some other ones, like the Strange New Worlds crew. Let me switch in there for those who don't know, and we'll talk about them a little bit. So I have Strange New Worlds Pike here. So he's got as a captain's ability increases shield mitigation by 14%. Great for hunting hostiles. His officer ability, excuse me, decreases hostile shield mitigation, so more is going to go to their hull. And I think my Pike is max. Yeah, he's max. So great officer. I have Hemmer over here um, just from synergy, but he helps out too. And what he does is he's good against survey ships. Okay, but the other three options, the problem with them is that you have to have them on a specific ship type and they have to be hitting a specific ship type. So what's Spock? Well, Spock is when he's on an explorer and he's hitting interceptors. So you have to be on something like an Enterprise. He works on the Franklin, but just talking about regular hostile hitting, Enterprise, a Valdor, something like that. Let's switch over to the group and we'll look at the other options. Uhura. How about anyone else have trouble saying her name? Uhura? I always want to put the U in there and it always trips me up. Anyways, attacking hostile battleships from an interceptor. I'll usually use her on like the Talios, because you're on an interceptor and you're hitting Borg probes. But if you have her on D4 or a ship like a Pylum, and you're hitting battleships, that could work for you. Last one here is Ortegas. So this is when you're on a battleship, which I currently have her on, and you're hitting explorers. But once again, you're kind of locked in with the type that you're going to hit, because if you switch up the type you're hitting, you're going to take a lot of hull damage because you're not getting that same benefit from her or from the officer, whether it's Spock, Ortegas, or Uhura. Okay. The last one that I use, and not everyone has Janeway, I get that. You can also substitute using 5 of 11 with some officers there, but I like this one. Janeway does more damage against hostiles because of the new cascade damage, isolytic damage that they brought into the game. She also does mitigation, so increases shield mitigation with the synergy. So stopping damage and doing more damage. Great officer as a captain. The doctor provides some mitigation, and Torres provides some piercing and so forth, so you can do more damage there. The real advantage of having these is having two officers that provide synergy. You could, if you don't have them, put another officer on here. Even if they don't provide the same benefit, they're still going to give synergy to Janeway for her captain's ability. So I will take this, and the great thing about this crew is it doesn't depend on what ship type you're in. It doesn't depend on what ship type you're hitting. You can go and kind of hit whoever you want. Hostile wise, it doesn't matter. Unlike the Strange New Worlds crew. So this is a crew I like. Sometimes I will put someone else here um, from the Voyager crew and put the Doctor below because the Doctor, let me hop over to him. Sometimes I'll put him below deck because his Renaissance Man will increase the resources dropped by hostiles. So that's something to consider when you're doing this. But those are three crews I like to use. And then, like I said, it just depends on the level of ship you have, how far in deep space you want to go. Are you farming ship parts? What's your strategy? Are you looking for XP or are you just trying to knock this thing out? Okay. So ultimately, it's up to you and what you decide is the most efficient for you and your strategy. Personally, I'd love to hear from you if there's any other ways that you find to get more efficient as you're doing faction hunt. I would also love to hear in the comments below if any of you don't do faction hunt and why. Um, or if you do, you come up with some other strategies I haven't thought of or crew suggestions that you use for hitting hostiles when you're doing this. That would be great to see in the comment section below. I'm trying to grow this channel, so please share this video with everyone in your alliance that you think would benefit from this. I know we're all looking for ways to be more efficient with our time since there's so many events and dailies that we have to knock out and benefits from the game. So thank you for your support. I love hearing from you, and I will look forward to you in the next video. Thank you so much.